Hey guys, it's Buzz Glover here. I am the founder of BizLoanConsultants.com. You probably know that by now. I'm the author of Business Loan Brokering 101, available on Amazon. And I am a 20-year veteran of brokering commercial business loans. Here's a photograph of my wife and I up at Niagara Falls last November. Probably not the best time of the year to go to Niagara Falls, but I thought it was better putting that photo in than me in a suit or like my LinkedIn photograph. But anyways, I'm here to announce finally, with big demand actually. I've had a number of people email me over the last month and a half about when my next session was going to get started, and I kind of got held off with some technical reasons, changing platforms and so forth behind the scenes, so I kept putting it off week after week. So for those of you who have been waiting, I appreciate you being patient. But it is my September 2018 Life Pivot Business Loan Brokering Mastermind course, and this is my enrollment announcement. So typically on these videos, oh, by the way, I'm down on my boat on the Allegheny River in Oakmont, PA, and it looks like, initially the lighting looked like I had a halo over my head. So if it looks like I'm an angel sitting here, then you know it's because I am doing this where I film a lot of my videos on my boat, because it's kind of what my passion in life is, golfing and boating. And believe it or not, brokering business loans is what brought most of this to me and allowed me to do a lot of the other things I've done business-wise as well. So, and if you watch some of my other videos, you probably know that. But typically when I announce an enrollment, what I'll do is I'll film a video and I'll go down through all the course, what the course covers. And I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to actually kind of get into a little bit of a heart-to-heart with you. If you want to go down below the video and see all the different things that the course has to offer, you can just read it. It'll take you, 5-10 minutes. You can go down through and see all the various videos that I filmed that take you from zero, not having a business at all, to, getting an LLC, getting a name, starting to decide on what type of niche you want to go after. And, just takes you from step by step, from not having anything to doing your first deal, which in many cases will pay for the mastermind course itself and all of your startup costs. There's a lot of money, there's a lot of upside potential, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But like I said, the reason for this video today, I want to keep it short and sweet, just to let you know that the class is starting soon, and there are some things that I think that hold people back in this video, and that's why I'm going to jump to this next slide here. So what I've learned over the last little over a year when I first launched this course, there's certain things that hold people back, not only starting a business loan brokering business or a commercial finance business, but starting any business. The biggest reason is money. It costs a lot of money to start almost any type of business. If you get outside of consulting, you're going to get into big money. I mean, you're going to have to typically go out and rent space. You're going to have to go out and put deposits down on rental spaces. You typically have to go hire employees. You might have to do a build out of some sort. You might have to go out and buy vehicles if you're getting into a service business. I've owned a bunch of businesses. I know that, on the surface, they all look good. But then you get into it and you learn what you have to buy to get started and risk, and it becomes monumental, and and most people can't afford to do it. And in the beginning, I couldn't either. So the nice thing about business loan brokering is you can get started with most of the things that you've already owned: your cell phone, your desk, your computer. You might have to go out and get a voice over IP. I recommend doing that, but the startup costs are minimal. Matter of fact, and I hate to say this because I don't want to discourage people, if you don't have enough money to start this type of business, chances are you're not going to get started in any business. So let's just say money aside. I mean, this is the one business that you can start with very little money, and it has huge upside potential. I mean, this comparing to be, there's other businesses that you can get into that are similar, like you could go out and become an insurance man or an insurance woman, or you could go out and sell residential real estate. And all of those, actually, I was just reading today, like, what does the average insurance salesperson make? Insurance broker, you go down to your local State Farm or your Progressive, and what does that guy make every time you renew your auto? And I sat down and I figured out what my annual premium was. And I think they make more money the first year, but like every time I renew, I think they make 40 or 50 bucks. And I'm thinking, like, oh my God, like how do these guys make a living? Of course, they probably have a ton of clients that are renewing, and I'm kind of getting off the beaten track here, but the reality of it is that this is the one business that you can get started with the very minimal upfront costs. And when you start getting into deals that are even the average size commercial real estate deal, the commissions are 5-figure commissions. Every once in a while, you're going to hit a home run, which I did a couple times in my career, and I made money that was unbelievable, so much that I don't even want to talk about it here because I don't want people to get into this with misconceptions. But so if not anything else, the small amount of outlay that you have to do to get your business started is a way to give you hope, a way to say, hey, yeah, there is a chance that I can make 5-figure and 6-figure commissions in this business, because trust me, it's out there. I've lived it. I know that it exists. And by the way, I don't have a finance degree or anything like that. I was a pretty good salesperson when I worked in the corporate world, and kind of fell into equipment finance, and then moved into opening my own brokerage. So, and thank God I did, because I wouldn't be sitting on this boat right now. I wouldn't have a lot of the things I enjoy in life, including the next thing, which is time. A lot of people want to start businesses, and the time involved that not only it takes to get started, but once you start the business, you don't want to still be trading your time for money. And what I mean by that is, if you go out and start most types of businesses, you're going to have to go to work at 8 in the morning, and you might have to work till 8 at night. And your freedom to build your own schedule is not there, because you have to have set hours. Clients have to come in at certain times, or, depending what, trust me, there's all different types of business, and I've been involved in a bunch of them. The one business that you don't want to get into is where you're kind of almost like you're back in the corporate world, or you're working for the man again, is that you have to go in, you have to have set hours. This does not mean that there's not a lot of hard work in this business, because there is, especially up front. You have to build a referral database that deals start to come to you regularly. You've got to build a pipeline of business. And it takes time to do that. And a lot of guys, I realize, don't get started because they don't have the luxury. They have to work their regular job. So what I'm going to tell you on that is, first of all, I'm never going to tell you when it's time for you to quit your job and to do this full time, because I don't want to make that decision for you. What you should do is start looking at all the different resources you have to get started while you are working in your current job. And that might be having someone come on with you. Maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's a girlfriend, maybe it's a good friend that's living on your couch, maybe it's your broke brother-in-law. And you can kind of get them set up in the business. You guys can share the video modules and both learn the business together and be partners in the business. But bring somebody in, and you can do this as what they call a side hustle, I guess is the big word for it nowadays. So kind of think about outside of the box about, okay, I want to start this, but I don't want to quit my current job. And I don't recommend you quitting your current job and getting started in this, because sometimes it takes 6 months to close your first deal. And I don't want to be the one responsible for you not paying your bills or eating or feeding your family. Like I said, it's going to be up to you to know when it's time to get started and to go out and do it full time. But you can get started in the meantime. And I think that if you need to pull in a partner to do that, or use somebody that you trust and wants to learn the business with you, by all means, I suggest that you do that, because it'll be a nice answer to that problem. The last thing I want to talk about is probably the number one reason. You think money or time are the biggest reasons, but people making the commitment to make a change in their life, I find really amazing. I've talked to people that talk to me all the time because they know I'm somewhat of a serial entrepreneur. I've done a lot of different things business-wise, a lot of them after I owned a successful business loan broker, because I had money to do it. But they look at me and they, in amazement, like I'm some, like, I don't know, business guru. But the reality is I just kind of just get started, and I make a commitment to to doing these startups. Some of them worked out pretty well, others have not worked out so well. And I could get into a whole long video about the ones that didn't work out. Fortunately, I've never lost my butt so bad that I couldn't continue on to do things, but I kind of knew when to hold them and when to fold them, as the song goes. But the biggest thing that I see is that when I talk to these people, I know that they just don't have that inner desire to say, all right, I'm finally going to make a change in my life. So that commitment to change might be the number one reason that most people don't get started, which made me think of this next. Oh, by the way, I'm not sure if I spelled commitment there correctly. I think maybe I did, but if I didn't, I apologize. I was watching a Dr. Phil show recently. This was just on in the last couple weeks, and it was kind of interesting. And this wasn't a show. He wasn't talking to a business person about starting their business, but it was about someone who, I don't know if they had a drug problem or an alcohol problem, but he goes through the 4 stages of readiness to change. And I thought, wow, this actually hits home for business as well. And I'm not going to go through all 4, but the final commitment that he talks about, the final stage for readiness for change is, and I'm just going to read it to you. Stage 4 is when you can honest to God say, I'm so sick to death of this that I will not put up with this for another second, for another minute, of another hour, of another day. I don't care how scary it is. I don't care what's on the other side. I will not put up with this for another second. I will change this. I don't care what it takes. That's when you get change. And that's what Dr. Phil said, and he said it verbally on a show, and I could probably find you a link to him actually saying that. But that was the one thing that in my business back in 2000, it's funny, I just dropped my daughter off at college, her freshman year, and it was right before she was born that I started my company 18 years ago, my brokering company. And that's kind of where I was. I couldn't take the corporate world any longer. I was tired of my boss. I was tired of putting up with all the conference calls and the meetings and a lot of things that didn't even have to do with, making money for the company that I work for. And I was just tired of it. And I got to this point and I said, you know what? I don't care what it takes. I don't care what's on the other side. I'm going to do this. And in hindsight, thank God I did it, because it changed my life dramatically. And I think that this business can change your life as well. And I'm hoping that it can. And one of the things I found out over the last year is when I get emails from people that are working on real big deals, some who've taken my mastermind class, some who haven't, who have just been reading and watching a lot of my free videos, and they come to me and they're working on a $17 million deal or a $35 million deal, or the interview that I just put out with one of my students who's closed 13 deals, and I think she's in the first 6 months or so made $35,000 and thinks she's going to do 6 figures her first year. That's kind of the things I live for, and I know that's out there for you. So it's a great business. Like I said, I don't want to run too long on this. I probably ran long already, but I do want to let you know that it has been a good business for me. I teach you what I know. I've kind of everything that I've gone through in my business, I have in these modules in my mastermind class. And every once in a while, when I think of something that I left out, I'll go back and video it and add it. So just want to let you know I'm here for you to get your business started. I'll do all the hand holding that you need throughout this. I'm readily available. It's not like these classes turn out, I don't have thousands of students in these classes. There's a lot of personal attention that I give, and I'm able to give at this point within the business. Maybe down the road I won't be able to. But let me look at my last slide just to keep me on. Oh, just so, like I said, just scroll down through the page below. It'll show you all the course material. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me at my email, sglover@BizLoanConsultants.com. I'll be glad to answer any questions. There are a bunch of bonuses for signing up early. We're in the early enrollment period, so go ahead and look at those bonuses below. I'm not going to read them off to you. And once you do, as you scroll down, you can see that you can go ahead and purchase and get enrolled in the class. You will have instant access to the first 2 modules, which are kind of setting up the basis for your business. And then the coaching calls will start thereafter, and I can't even remember the exact date. But there you have it. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enroll, and I hope that I can make a change in your life, just like this business changed my life. And I promise you that I'll do everything in my power to make sure that your business is successful if you join on with me. So I appreciate it, and I'll talk with you soon.